this is going. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Hello, this is Ronald or Christmas 28. Today is June 30th, and forgive me for the traffic that's passing. I'm on Wabash Avenue in Redlands, over by my old storage unit, but I'm homeless right now. So as of last Saturday, I don't have a place to go to. I'm not using Wi-Fi. I'm not using my Bluetooth, but I do have I guess the updated ADV screen recorder, not just limiting me to 720 p resolution. I can do 1080p. So hopefully the camera is looking good, and I have not taken a shower in about 6 days. So forgive me for my fucked up look, but I did wash my face, brush my teeth, and all that jazz. And then, anyways, without getting too distracted, because it's already 1 minute, I want to jump into this. And um, I just wanted to give you guys that update, but I'm going to go ahead and jump out of the game. Hopefully this doesn't fuck up the screen too much, but I'm going to jump straight into YouTube. And on my old video, I had a comment today, apparently while I was at work, and he said, JB, he said, "Hi, please help L button and R button. I can't walk like yours. My perspective keeps turning one side." And then I made a reply, but I said so much that, that's a lot to read. So without even reading it, I want to answer his comment with my video. So I'm gonna focus on the L button and the R button. I think he means the shoulder buttons, but I think he says, "I can't walk like yours. My perspective keeps turning one side." So I'm gonna emphasize that. I'm gonna jump back into home while the OTG setting is still on. Hop right back into Gamesir. Make sure your green light is still on. Don't close any of the apps. Just use your home button to mod when you're if you're on Android, then you should understand what I'm saying. But hop back into PUBG. Okay, my thing's at the same spot, my video's at the same spot, and what I need to do right now is I need to jump into um, training mode. So training grounds, I downloaded everything while I was on Wi-Fi, but like I said, I am not on Wi-Fi right now. I'm using microphone this time, not the internal sound recording, so you're gonna hear cars passing by, and I'm losing light. So the light for me is getting dim. So while I still have light, I wanted to make this video, and I want to make it as quickly as possible so it's not a long drawn out video. But JB, you can't walk like mine. So I want to grab I want to grab the basics of the things that I would naturally look for. I'm going to grab a level 3 backpack, and you have these automatic settings to grab everything you need um, right from the when you're playing PlayStation 4, you can just spawn everything from the main menu. You can get level 3 equipment and everything, and just automatically like get ammo. You don't have to walk and get your shit like this. But anyways, like I have no problem with this. I'm looking for the Mini 14, which is right here. So I like the Mini 14, and let's go with the AUG. It's the better version. Shit on my video, right? Fuck that shit. So anyways, I wanted to get the AUG because it's better than the M4, uh, and it is even the SCAR, obviously, because I think the fire rate is faster and it's more precise, it's more accurate. And then what I want to do with this is I want to grab the 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and a red dot. Damn it, I always miss the red dot. It respawns everything, and then it makes me grab the hollow. I can never get it, no matter how quickly I want to get it. And I always use my thumb to get that too, because it's like right there. It's just an easy grab. But I go into my backpack and I have something I don't want, which is the hollow. So, oh yes, let me put this back down here though, right? So, because I put that there because I don't think I have a button except for B. Yeah, my B's not working. Now my B's working because the video's not working. But see, if I put the camera right there, I can't go crouch or go prone. Now I can. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I put this stuff over here in the corner. All right, so JB, I want to grab one last thing and then share with you what the hell I have my settings. Um, my Y button. I'm gonna grab a P92 and then I guess there's already ammo. I don't know where the ammo's at, but oh, there's infinite ammo. Thank goodness. All right, so I have 8 times on the mini. I always want to put my sniper rifle on the upper equip or the first slot, which should be your left button on your D-pad. If you could see where the mini gun is uh, on the screen right underneath my backpack, you can faintly see. I'm touching the screen with my finger, but I don't have to do that because on the Gamesir X2 you could use the D-pad. So I don't want to focus on those controls. I guess what I could do is with this is the Gamesir app mapping thing. What you are having an issue with is this. So the L2 and the R2 button, I got those things situated. My L2 is the scope, right? If I have this open right here, check this out. I'm gonna go back into this, go into my settings, user cogwheel, wherever you have that at. Go to customize buttons right here, and then this. So this is the in-game editable like mapping that PUBG Mobile offers you, and you have a first person, a third person perspective setting, as well as a first person perspective setting. So you want to get used to both of them. If you have a dedicated button to use, the swap button, like right above where my finger is on the video, there's the FPP swap button. So you can use FPP or TPP. And what I've done is to make both of them essentially the same. You can copy the layout on. You can copy the if you play mainly first person perspective, which is my natural play with no aim assist, okay, I like no aim assist. I want to be in full control, and I have absolute control so I can take down enemies. People that have the aim assist can actually have their aim kind of thwarted or messed up because of that artificial intelligence kicking in and kind of moving their cursor. Although some people get it down pat and spam the fuck out of it. That's how I die a lot, especially when I play first person perspective against third person perspective. But again, I don't want to get carried away. I want to focus on what you have. So let me jump back into the mapping. It's almost 10 minutes. See, where I have this thing right here, I'm gonna go ahead and move that. If I move you this, it overlaps, and see it's about the same size as where my in-game mapping thing is. I'm gonna go ahead and click X, and I don't want to save anything because I didn't want to change that, right? So that didn't change, right? Again, there's this, and then there's that. The red button that keeps going up to the sign where it says Classic Mode TPP brings up the Gamesir app mapping thing that makes it work with the Gamesir X2 controller. This is how this works. You edit this to make it about the same size, or essentially look at how like my L3, the R3 buttons, a combo R1, L1 button, when I press both of those buttons, my shoulder buttons, my R1 and L1 at the same time, I swap from first person perspective to third person perspective, and you see that in my gameplay. So, but what you are having a problem with is your movement, right? So again, I don't want to change anything, so I'm not going to save this, but I want to move my L stick thing out the way. So that way you see that this damn thing, the circle, has to be exactly the same size. And I'm zooming in, so I want to look at inside the screen, and I want to try and overlap this thing like right on it, right as much as I possibly can. And you want to have your screen bright as fuck while you do this, so that way you can see what it is you are doing. I mean, I'll just do this with a drop down menu, boom, all the way, right? So, close it with this. Oh, okay. So my phone is too high. It's summer. Okay, it was over 100 degrees or some shit like that. But what I'm saying is, you want to get this not only the same size as you can, right? You can modify it to be bigger or smaller, and you can also do that in the game. But when you do that, make sure it's approximately the same size and you're overlapping it right there. So that way, when you move with your left thumbstick on thumbstick and you're using the Gamesir to move around like this, you can do this. Now, if you're also still having trouble moving, here's what's happening. I don't want to save this again, right? So don't save nothing. Here's what you are having a problem with. I have a bunch of shit over here in the corner, and I'm gonna exit again as well as not saving. But right here, there's this button right here. If you have this button and your Y button, like, look, I have this right here. I'm not gonna change this, and I'm not gonna save the other one thing. But where I drag my hand from over there in the corner, there's my Y button, and on the controller itself, you can actually switch X and Y on the controller because Y is where X would be on the game on the Xbox controller, and X is where Y would be. So those are swapped, but you can swap it using the in-game setting on the controller itself using the app. You don't even need the controller to make that swap. But when it does that, it makes it so that way you know you're using an Xbox 360 controller layout. But this is the Gamesir X2. That's why I bought it because it reminds me of using an Xbox 360 controller. So, anyways, Xbox controller has X and Y swapped on this thing, but I have my Y button there, and it's swapped so that way I act like my X button is Y. So, anyways, I had to explain that. But when I press X, it's Y, and when I press Y, look at what it does. It exits or enters into a vehicle because I overlap the drive. So I'm gonna exit off of this, right? And I don't want to exit, and I want to save saved. Settings not saved yet. Save and exit? No, don't save. Ooh, go back in there, right? So it went back to where it was, good, because I didn't want to change it. But notice how I have everything overlapping where Y button is. When I press the Y button, I instantly hop into a vehicle, and I instantly hop out of a vehicle. But also notice when I grab with my finger right now, I'm going to grab the right thumbstick, this big blue R, this thing right here. This thing has to be open and out of the way so much so that way it's not on this side of the screen because when you're using the setting, hold on, exit, don't save, exit, right? You have to move while you're in the training mode because if you don't, it can automatically kick you after like 15 minutes or some shit like that. So make sure you take a moment to do this because sometimes you could be in the middle of editing your stuff either in the settings in this the customized buttons thing because look at before I even went in there I'm on the first setting. I'm not on number 2, I'm not on number 3, I'm on number 1 still. You can dabble however much you want on these things, but here's another thing. I'm staying on number 1, setting number 1, because I already have everything dialed in for this setting number 1 and it works perfectly in conjunction. I got mosquitoes on me. It works perfectly in conjunction with third person perspective and first person perspective using this Gamesir X2 controller. And my gameplay shows. I've had 14 kills. My recent gameplay, I've had 7 kills. I've had 4 kills, 6 kills. Like that's good because it increases my 2.0 KD to something much higher, like 5 or 6 kills a game on average. And that's when I'm on Wi-Fi and I'm still playing with less than 50% brightness as opposed to full brightness like what I have right now, right? I'm at 50 because my phone says it was too hot. That's okay. But again, you want to move around while you're in training mode. And I got my weapons that I want used. I even got a pistol, so when I press down on the D-pad, I pull that out, and it has a red dot. Perfect. This has a little 4 times or a 6 times. I see that 4 times. The difference, you want to get used to the settings of these, right? And even the 8 times. You need a sniper rifle for the 8 times. So X is my reload, but again, Y is where X would be on the Xbox 360 controller, but this is the Gamesir X2 controller. But the movement, notice where my left thumbstick is. So when I move and try and move up, I never figured out how to get rid of that giant yellow sprint icon that shows up right here when I'm running. I wish I could get rid of it, but I never learned how. I'll have to look at some YouTube videos and try and like figure out how to do that, but that's fucking annoying because I want to get rid of that to have more screenplay, and even without my face cam thing in the way. I mean, it would be there anyways, but you want to be able to hit what the fuck you're aiming at. You want to hit what you're aiming at, whether that's moving or not. No matter what scope you got. Like, you want to use the crosshair on the screen. You want to have your settings dialed in for that, so that way you can no scope shit. Right, that's a no scope right there. No scope with the mini, bro. Okay, so and it works better with the. That's called hip fire or just no scope. It's no scope or hip fire. Basically, you want to get good with aiming at that, and you also want to get good at aiming down sight, which this is what aiming down sight is. And when you're firing, there's different settings and the sensitivity settings for when you're holding down the scope. It's a whole this whole section down here is that's what it affects, right? So I'm gonna move my face thing out of the way so that way you can and take a moment to press pause on the video. And these are my current settings right now as of my last gameplay on Wi-Fi yesterday. Again, I don't have Wi-Fi anymore. I'm homeless, so I don't have Wi-Fi anymore, and I have to go to a restaurant or something just to charge my fucking phone. Right? I'm still working at a warehouse full time Monday through Friday, but this is what I got to do. So I have 84%. I started at 94, 93, and this is not bad. It's a less than 20 minutes, 16 minutes, but take a moment to press pause and look at these settings for the camera sensitivity on regular settings. Again, there's a difference between third person perspective aim and first person perspective aim, right? When you're just looking around, that's that settings. And when you're actually firing, there's a difference between third person perspective aim and first person perspective aim when you are firing and aiming down sight, even on iron sights, which if you take off right, I take off, I have my AUG equipped. This is iron sight. That's iron sight, right? There's no scope at all. There's no red dot, there's no 6 times, 4 times, nothing. This is a sight. But even when you're aiming down sight, this is actually affected by the red dot. So I click settings, the sensitivity, the red dot holographic and aim assist, that affects iron sight because there's no slot for iron sight, but that's literally what red dot holographic and aim assist is. So you want to get that down pat with third person perspective because there's not an option for that in first person perspective. But there kind of is because there's actually these settings down here as well for 198 for third person camera, character and vehicle, and first person camera 150. Now I can explain this stuff only because check this out. I'd have to go back to the just look at my last video or something, or just I can tell you I have like about 800 or 900 matches played on this one account. Now granted, I was in jail for 11 months back in like 2019, and I've had to restart from scratch with nothing using this same account. But I mean, I've been using my same account because I put a little bit of money into it, got all my little gear, got my little business suit going, and whoops, I wanted to press this button, but apparently, oh, see, I'm never in training mode, but where my R1 and L1 button is, right there in the upper left-hand corner, that is my first-person perspective. See, I'm getting a little distracted, but what I wanted to share with you, JB, is that your movement needs to be on the left-hand side of the screen. So, like where the fence is, your Gamesir mapping thing needs to be right there. You see what I'm saying? Where the fence is, your left toggle needs to be the same size. And check this out: when you click it, notice this little white box that appears right above it. There's two options. You can either delete that and reset it manually all over again, starting from scratch, and just put it to where you want it, which is always okay. But if you got it down, then what you want to make use of is the saving function in this particular menu on the very upper the black menu on the top part of the screen in the middle. But on this, when you select your left hand thing, check this out. That there's a cog right there next to the trash can. You got two tabs on the left hand side of this particular menu. You got joystick mode and sliding mode. You want the left stick to be joystick mode, and I have no delay, zero delay, like no millisecond delay at all. All right, so click the left arrow on the upper left hand corner to go back. I'm gonna say okay or okay, just press okay. And not only I'm gonna use this moment to make emphasis on this one as well. I don't want to save this, but this also has a menu, and on this one, it took me a while to understand the sensitivity setting on this alone because it functions different than the sensitivity setting that you have in your sensitivity settings in your PUBG mobile thing for both first person perspective if you play that mode like I do, and third person perspective if you're making use of both like I'm trying to with this Gamesir X2 controller. So, anyways, you have the X, which is left and right, and the Y axis up and down, vertical sensitivity settings. Mine is at 7 and 6. There's no other descriptions, there's no other options. Just use full screen, which is your entire screen, and axis direction, which is standard. You could do reverse, like as if you're in an airplane mode, but you don't have to do that unless you're dyslexic. But I wouldn't recommend it. Just use it like normal, like you're playing on a regular controller. My whole goal with using this Gamesir X2 controller was to emulate the play style of me playing on the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One X, whatever you have, an Xbox controller, because I prefer the Xbox 360 controller. But I wanted to play this game in that particular sense, in the same sense that I would play Halo, Halo 2, Call of Duty Zombies, Grand Theft Auto, whatever, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 5 Online, all that shit. So this functions great. If I had this particular customizable controls with my Scuff Impact controller, it's just a basic one, then I want to spend $350 on just a whole modified version. But again, this one has a different section. So you don't want joystick mode for the right thing, you want the sliding mode, and you want to tinker starting off base 6 and 4, right? I started off with 6 and 4, but now I'm at like 7 and I think 6. But I'm gonna press OK and I'm gonna press exit. I want to save, don't save, because I don't want to save anything that I changed. These are the settings that I want for my first person perspective gameplay, as well as my third person perspective gameplay. I play well in both. Right? No, whatever I'm aiming at, I hit. Someone made a video about that, and I was like, you know what? I want to be able to do that too. Hit the tree. Yes. Hit the sign. Yeah, hell yeah. And then when you're in this mode, you want to try and dabble with like what you would do with the L1 button. My L1 button is I grabbed an apple. But I found over here, next to these moving signs over here, there's grenades, right? And then there's smoke grenades and Molotovs. Fuck the Molotov, you just need the grenades and the smoke grenades. Although people are really good with the Molotovs too, so I can't knock people. It really just boils down to practice. So I got this, and what I'm using is my fingers to hit the little tab button. Imagine like the scroll button has to be small enough on the side right here, so that way when you look around without, like if I want to auto run in first person perspective mode or third person perspective mode, right, I can still use my thumb and still look around. Right, 100%, and you can't do that in first-person perspective mode, right? It's just left and right. So it's just as realistic as PUBG Mobile will get it for FPP mode versus TPP mode, right? But you want to get that down pat. So you want to basically, like, if you played 800 to 900 matches and you pay attention to sensitivity settings, and then you also dabble with the customized settings, and you understand this whole menu with the Gamesir app itself and how it overlaps and how it has to be essentially the same size. Or notice my L3 is smaller than the actual lean button, right? L3, R3 is when you click in the right thumbstick and the left thumbstick, right? Don't save. Exit, don't save, right? Right? Those buttons, I'll just bring up the mapping for the Gamesir. They're smaller than the actual buttons that I have on the screen. You know what I'm saying? And they're in the exact same spot. So whatever I'm doing, I have full control. And you have full control because PUBG Mobile gives you so many different fucking options to customize how exactly you want to play the game. When you press X button, notice how the cursor goes up or down. That's how you can throw your apple or toss it. Throw, toss. You got to get good at shit like that. Not only that, you want to get good with the driving. So you have to make sure that your controls for your driving are also in. Hold on, there's fucking cars passing by. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to hear me unless I find a quiet spot. But if I go to this, I'm going to be sleeping in a field in a tent to avoid bugs. But in that field, I will not have my little less than my my 50% 5Gs. I'm on 4G right now. I'm not even on 5G on Wabash Avenue in Mentone, borderline Redlands, and I'm homeless. So this is what I got to do. I apologize, JB, for making a long video, but I want to explain all these things. So just in case I missed these things in my previous videos, you take a look at what's going on with the Gamesir X2 app mapping thing, and you also do it in conjunction with this, and you get familiar with first person perspective and make sure they're exactly the same. So when you swap your controls when using the Gamesir X2 controller will function whether you're in first person perspective mode or third person perspective mode, right? So my gameplay that I shared yesterday has me swapping between FPP and TPP mid battle while I'm driving and while I'm not driving. So you got to get good at this button right here, the vehicle, right? And there's also different modes right here, but I want the full customized joystick thing, right? Split joystick. Again, what that shows is the left side of the screen is going to be where your left toggle is going to be, just like how your movement is when you're not in a vehicle, and your other functions looking around is going to be on the right side of the screen. That you can put other buttons on that side of the screen, and you don't even have to worry about them. Uh, while you're looking around, you just have them somewhere out of the way. But when you push the button, you still have functionality of what you want to do while you're driving. So, like I said, like I want my face cam thing out of the way because there's nothing there that I'm pressing. My R2 button is out of the is look at where my R2 button is. It's on the left hand side of the screen, but it's also small and also out of the way of the left toggle and where the left toggle thing would be for the customized button. See, it's right here. I'm gonna click it, boom, and I'm gonna go ahead and transparency. That's where it is. You see what I'm saying? That has to be the same size. You see it now, JB? That has to be the same size, all that shit. Don't save, exit, don't save, right? But that's where it's at, right? And then you also want to try and figure out while looking at how to increase the size of the sprint button so that way when you press up all the way, you can automatically hit that automatic sprint button as if you were sliding up with your thumb the way you normally would do it without a controller to get the auto sprint. So that is hitting, but also it's also not hitting the R2 button. You see how it's slightly out of the way? And when you're in the airplane mode, I could just hit R2 instead of fire to just jump out and not use the whole idea is to not take your fingers off of the thumbstick, only to do it for things that you would need to do. Like I have my A button to jump and also simultaneously climbing through windows. You want to get the most use out of one button as much as you possibly can. So press and hold the B button, you know what I'm saying? And boom, um, you can automatically go prone just like the game will allow you, or you can press it however you freaking want it. Double press it, triple press it, whatever your preference is. This game offers you that much customization. So the driving, like I wanted to get into, right? I press my Y button automatically. R2 gas, or my fire button is. You see what I'm saying? R1, that's what I would use my boost for. L1, no use on this. My when I'm out, my L1 is whatever this is on the bottom left hand side of the screen. Also notice um if I have this menu open, it's not in the way. You see how when the menu goes away, but it's also not in the way of where the fuck is the camera? It's not in the way of the left hand toggle. So like if you are having problems and you're only looking one way, it's because you have a menu open. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something open like this. Hold on. Right? So like this thing. right here, I want to emphasize this right here. If you have that menu open, you walk up into some building or to next to something on the floor or on a table, whatever, this menu, this yellow menu is going to pop up, right? It's going to pop up. And if you have your look, your right thumbstick thing overlapping, or if that thing's really in the way, you're going to have problems looking around and stuff. But I want to be able to look around even if this menu's open. You know what I'm saying? I'll still have my mind part of my mind on the menu so that way I can scan through and skim through the things that I need, that I like and prefer. Like the suppressor, I'll grab it. Or I could just, instead of using my thumb, I could press R1. But I also have my X button. I also have my X button right there, so just in case I wanted the flash hider, press X. Boom, I grabbed it. You know what I'm saying? I could just quick grab that without having to take my thumb off of and touch the screen. I want to make as much use out of this controller as I possibly can. Press R1, right, I grabbed it into the suppressor. But here's your problem. If you have that menu open, you can close it by pressing Y. Right? The same button that I use to jump in and out of a vehicle, jump in, drive. Exit now. Oh shit. Drive. Okay, exit. I want, you know, you have to make a decision. Do I want into the car or do I want out of the car? Do I want to be able to go prone? Do I just need to crouch and look to the side? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. There's a bunch of tips that you can get. You know what I'm saying? Is it, can I look over? Is it clear? You know, is he over here? However you can angle your shot. But look, imagine going back to this. I close this menu. I still want to be able to look and do what it is I need to do just in case I need to get into battle mode. On the fly, you need to be listening to footsteps or vehicles, because if someone knows where you are, you have to get into battle mode. You cannot be in looting mode. You're either looting, traveling, or fighting. And if you're in battle mode, you really don't want to be having this menu open. You want full control of the field. You want full visibility. You want to put that menu away. So I have that as Y, and it goes away and it goes away. So when I have something on the floor, I think, let's see if I could just drop that. Did I drop that? Drop. All right, it's not dropping where I want it to be, but so the S button is next to where I have the Y button, and I wanted those things basically in the same spot because when you have to activate the S button by going over an enemy's death crate, and when that enemy's death crate is open, you can obviously scroll through their stuff, but I also wanted that menu in the same spot as the yellow menu, so that way it's out of the way of the right button, so that way I can look around still while I'm like on the floor and look around and going through his inventory or her inventory, and I'm looking around still at the battle, paying attention. Where's the sounds coming from? Where's the shots coming from? Do I even have enough time to loot? Do I need to get in cover? Boom. Do I need to get low and heal or something? Press up on the D-pad, select that with your button with the thumb really quick, and then press up on the D-pad to hit that quick. Do I need to throw a grenade, a smoke grenade? Select that really quick, hit grenade, or put it away, or pull it back out, and throw a smoke on it, you know what I'm saying? And that's where I need to go. That's how it goes, you know what I'm saying? That is how it goes. So you want to be able to make use of one button for as many things as you possibly can. That's making use of the Gamesir X2 controller and the whole customizable menu that the app provides with the controller, and how you can basically make it work perfectly in tandem with the customized settings that you get from the game itself. And then it's just a matter of tinkering with the settings, right? The sensitivity settings, and also understanding the difference of how fast you want your look around sensitivity setting with this right here, because you can go really fast, go up to 10 on each X and Y, 10-10. See what that's like versus 3 and 3. But basically, I just want to remind you that you want to slow down to speed up. So start slow, go slow, like your 6 times, your 8 times, really fucking low. Go all the way to 1. Make everything 1, 0, all the way to the left. That's slow. Even way down there, 0, 0, 0. So that way, when you move with this thing, even if it's on a high ass sensitivity like 10 and 10, it's not moving fast. This way, you are forced to spend time in training mode until you can look at these things and hit these things until you're confident with both hip fire and aiming down sight with or without a scope. No matter if you got 8 times, a 3 times, a red dot, I don't give a shit. You got to be able to hit what the hell it is you're hitting or aiming at. Pistol, you know what I'm saying? And I got it slow because I want steady. Because usually a pistol's short range, so I don't need that much look. Especially when I'm like, you know, that's pretty easy for me. I'll use the hip fire to really aim really quick, and then I'll go ahead and aim down sight really quick. But I noticed that there's a little bit of lag when you hold the L2 button, and especially with the input from just using this controller itself, there's still a little bit of lag compared to just using a phone. So if you got a flagship phone with a top processor and 8 or more gigabytes of RAM to be able to play this game at full functionality with with basically no lag because there's no controller. Like there's people that fight me that use the aim assist and third person perspective only and fuck my ass up just because they have that much more less ping, more speed, and less no lag from using a controller. Because there's just a little bit of input lag when I use this controller. But I am in Diamond League, and I don't think I will be playing this game this much with this much fun and for free, basically, on just paying a monthly phone bill and only a $60 payment for just this controller. Okay, I didn't have to buy anything in game. I didn't have to spend another $60 in game, but I've spent $170 on Magic the Gathering. I've spent $1,130 on War Robots, but I don't even play that game anymore. I play this a lot more than I play War Robots. And like Magic the Gathering, I'm always playing that on the bus on my way to work and after work and in the mornings before I go to sleep. And I can even play it while I'm homeless because I don't need a stable connection to be able to play this game all the time. So again, I'm still over here next to someone's warehouse, and I gotta get going because now it's dark. I can finally go to my tent and I can start setting up my little camping spot. But I gotta go to work tomorrow. But JB, just to answer your question, I wanted to make another Gamesir X2 video for you to elaborate how you need to set up your stuff. You need to get your buttons out of the way so that way you can see everything on the screen as much as possible. So get used to the transparency settings, turn those down, but really you want to make sure that they're on high enough at like 80, 75%, 50% to 75%, so that way you can see and edit the size of these things. Like you can edit the size of all of these things, everything, but you want to make these small enough to the point where you can basically make use of the real estate. Like you have only so much space on your screen and you can move these things where you want them to go, but where can you put them so that way you can make use of every button that you can on your controller the way that you want. I have played and practiced and tinkered and edited so much with these damn controls that I know that when I pick up the game and I plug my phone into the Gamesir X2 controller and I got my green light on and I have a solid connection like this and I got over 80% battery, right? I'm at 73% and I'm using less than 50% screen brightness, right? And I have, it's best to play at 100%, starting at 100% and no less. Don't even try and play your phone or play a game at less than at 80% because you're not going to get the best performance of gameplay. You have to play with 100% or play plugged in as if you're playing on a console or laptop with your whole device plugged into an electric outlet, right? That's just the best way to go about it on LAN, not Wi-Fi, not on fucking 4G, or 5G. I'm on 4G, not even 5G. So, it's okay. Like, I can still do what I want to do in the game. I can still climb that thing. I can still, whatever I set my mind to do, I'm gonna do it. I can learn how to drive. I can get used to the tilt forward to the up motion when I get used to a motorcycle. I was getting good at jumping around these little hills and stuff and getting good at using the motorcycle. Learning how to use the frag grenades and understanding how I want my sensitivity. Do I want to just toss it? Do I really want to fucking throw it way over there, or do I just want to toss it over the wall? You know what I'm saying? And on a split second, I made that swap. You know what I'm saying? Oh, over the wall or way the fuck over there across the fence? You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, you totally get that customization, and you don't get this kind of customization on PUBG on PlayStation 4, but you do get a lot less lag, less ping. There's a lot more shit that you can do. It's better graphics. It's You can use a microphone more and have proper communication. But I'll tell you, when I started playing that, I mean, I'm like level 100 now because I put in grinding work from like, I made it to level 60 over a year ago when I had my console and when it first came out and I was waiting for it. Like 2018 when it first came out. People are level 500 and I'm like level 50 if I didn't know any better, or 70 maybe. Level 100 according to the game now on PlayStation 4, but I'm getting my ass whooped in first person perspective mode, which doesn't even take more than 2 minutes to get into. On PUBG Mobile, you can't play fucking first person perspective mode in any game. It takes longer than 7 minutes, and basically you get no game at all after waiting in the lobby for 5 to 7 or more minutes. Because if you can't get into a match, the game just doesn't even start. What does that mean? You're forced to play third person perspective mode. Forced to play third person perspective mode, and I prefer to play first person perspective mode with no aim assist, meaning that I actually have fucking skill and I actually put in my grinding work and my practice to get as good as I am right now, to make sure that my KD actually, like, that shit matters to me. Performance matters to me in the game. When I want to try and win and get players to play together and operate with teamwork, like whole teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, my last game on Wi-Fi, I won the fucking game because we functioned as a team. Maybe someone died because they decided to go a whole different way, but I did. You make those mistakes. You leave from the team when everyone's already grouped together, and you're that one lone wolf. You can get fucked up by a squad, especially if you don't have your practice, your hours of practice and skill dialed in this much. So I'm just saying, like, without getting too carried away, go back in the video, look at my sensitivity settings, look at where the mapping is, uh, go back to where the editing function is for this, the joystick mode 0. Okay, go over to this one again, get acquainted with the sensitivity settings and how it functions on your screen. Again, there's so many different things that you can do. I'm saying don't save. You can go over here, go to graphics and audio. I mean, there's something over here too. Look at there's on the very bottom. There's a whole notch thing. It's currently at 7. You can go up to fucking 50. I'm gonna go right back to 7. Right, and then there's also like different things that you can do. I guess my phone says it's coming soon still for 4 times. That would make it more smooth. I got realistic. My frame rate is on high. I want that for the 1080p recording. And it's on balance. I can't do UHD. I don't have a flagship phone with a fast processor and a shit ton of RAM. But I did get acquainted with like non-standard screens, like the distance between where this shit is and it's not. Um, it changes the size of the screen where where you can put these things and where your buttons in the Gamesir X2 will be able to reach in close in customized buttons right here, right? So if I wanted to try and press the Y button, right, all the way up upper right hand corner, the Y button to do so many different things, right? My X button is to open doors and open up carts and switch my toss or long throw. That Y button right there. If I didn't put that thing to 7, I'd have put it all the way to 50. Maybe it wouldn't even reach right there. It'd probably be like smaller or much larger, and it would be out of proportion. So you got to get used to all these different kinds of settings. You got to spend time on the game using the Gamesir X2 controller and getting acquainted with the menu that the Gamesir app provides. This menu and all the different things that you can do with it, and how you can make it overlap the things that you can do in in PUBG Mobile in the whole customize buttons section, right? And then it's just a matter of playing, and how fast is your reaction time, right? Your sensitivity settings, and that's why you got to take a moment, press pause, and try and use these settings. And if you can use all of these settings, and even on the brightness, however you want to get the brightness done when you're done, adjust, go to advanced, general settings. You got button transparency. You can make it totally invisible. I guess the toggle slide mode wasn't working. Well, I'll just do that. Say, I could say save, and look, it will make them totally disappear. Saving, there's crickets. Damn, there's a shit ton of crickets. I gotta get out of here. Close. And look, now you can't even see any of the buttons that my controller will do. Oh, yes, you can. You can see in the cloud right there, on the blue sky, my R3, L3. But I guess if I were to restart, it would actually go back to 15. So you can still see the buttons, but I guess the next time I would restart the whole Gamesir X2 controller thing without using the ADV screen recorder in use at such high settings and with microphone settings and all these fucking sounds going by you. There's probably shit that you didn't even hear because cars passing by and I'm just rambling. But you got to get used to everything. And then also just remember that when you're in training mode and getting used to when you're playing what is it, free for all or the battle mode, the arcade mode, so that way you respawn faster. You got to get used to your sensitivity settings in there, so that way when you're in the middle of a fight in the regular battle royale mode, like your reaction time is on point, because not only are you good in the quick respawn mode and arcade mode, but you're also really good in team deathmatch mode. You're also really good at battle royale mode when you're jumping off the plane and having to go find your own shit and make use of whatever you find. Like you got to get good with pistols. You know what I'm saying? And be so good with pistols that you don't even need aim assist. That's how good I got at this game. That's how good I am. That's how good I am with my controller. That's how good I am with this game with my sensitivity settings, and I take pride in it because it took me a while to get to this point. I wouldn't be playing this game with just my fucking fingers or my thumbs like some people can. Well, they got $1,000 phones. Mine's only $300, and that's how much I can afford. I haven't had a new phone for over a year, and I'm making a lot of use out of just this phone. I'm not getting the best gameplay because of the lack of processing power and the fact that I don't get pass through charging, so I have to play on limited battery supply, right? I'm at 70, less than 70% now. So I can't make the best videos, I can't make the best gameplay. So I'm making use of what I got with where I'm at. I'm homeless right now, you know what I'm saying? So fuck it. This is what I got, but I still can have a lot of fun doing what I'm doing right here. So without getting too carried away, I just want to finish right there on that note. And JP, I hope that helps you with your movement, your strafing, your backward movement, your forward movement. When you hold run, you could just let go of your left thumb altogether, and then just use your right thumbstick to kind of like move around. When you're in a regular mode, you won't have these two extra buttons on the upper left hand side, so that way you can just press, your quick swap. Mine's R1, L1, so you can just look around and you can auto swap again, no hand, but I'm still running around and still able to look around, up, down, left, right, and stop. Go back into a room and navigate through a building, go up and down stairs and stuff like that. Open doors with X button. shit like that. So past that, you just have to spend a lot of time right here in training ground. You have to get good with your sensitivity settings in team deathmatch mode, and you have to play a bunch of different mode games in battle royale mode like normal, and then make sure that whatever you're aiming at and looking at, you can hit with whatever weapon range that you got. Long range, medium range, or short range. So yeah, past that, I'm gonna let this go. I'm gonna get going. I gotta get to my spot. I gotta build my tent, and then I gotta go to work tomorrow. It's 9 o'clock, so I'm gonna finish right there. And have a good night, man, and have fun. Get good at the game, and I'll keep making videos as much as I can, even though I'm homeless. You guys take care, and thank you for watching. Christmas out.